Welcome to Big Oak Ranch Training. My name is Taylor Kahn, and I am one of the main trainers here at Big Oak Ranch. Today we are going to be learning about some of the bone structures, breeds, colors, gaits, and different things like that about horses. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you learned something. This is the section 1 of one of our main things of horse training. So be sure to subscribe, and I hope you really like this video.
So this is the main poster we are going to be looking at. As if you look at the very top, we can see the colors of our horses, the different and main colors. As we move down, we can see markings of the heads and feet, and different, basically, markings and, so on and so on. As we move down, we can even see conformational and faults, which we can be our correct stances and our incorrect stances. Moving even more down, we can see our gaits, our walk, trot, canter, and gallop, which we will call a lope. So let's get started. As we move closer to the poster, we are going to focus more on our color at first. Our first one up, right here, is our Bloody Bay. It is a reddish brown with black mane, tail, and lower legs. You can see the example on the poster. The second is a Sandy Bay, light brown with black mane, tail, and lower legs. Example on the poster. This is a Appaloosa color, usually dark spots over white hindquarter blanket with many varieties. Actually, an Appaloosa, here's a fun fact, is one of the closest animals to, or horse breeds, to a Mustang. It is a very beautiful horse and has many different colors. The most common is a gray, or most people actually know them though, of the brown and white. Some people call them apples because they remind them of an apple color of the red and white polka dots on some apples organically. Right here is called a liver chestnut color. It is a dark reddish brown mane and tail, same color as body or flexen, a flexen called Coco Palomino. This is a Palomino color, which I'll show you an example of Palomino, but is a darker Palomino, which is more of a golden type of shiny body with a more of a really white blondish mane. Here's a golden chestnut, a lighter shades of golden brown mane, tail, same color or lighter. You can see the example on here. This is a just regular brown horse. It's a deep brown, sometimes black with lighter brown areas at muzzle, eyes, and inner leg. This is a piebald, a black and white spotted horse often called pinto. We're going to move down to the second row now. This is a skybald, a brown and white spotted horse often called pinto or paint. Paints don't only actually look like this. They can even look like a full-out Appaloosa through their body without the solid color here. Some paints, though, can actually be a solid color, really, of any of the varieties I'm about to show you. This is a gray. A horse born almost black grows lighter and lighter with an age, sometimes dappled or freckled. This is the Palomino that I talked about earlier. It is a creamy yellow to golden yellow with flexen mane and tail. This is a black horse. The black with no light or brownish areas. This is a strawberry roan. Brown with all over mixture of white hairs gives reddish brown effect. A blue roan, a black with all over mixture of white hairs with a few red. This is our buckskin dun. A tan or smoky yellow with black mane, tail, and dorsal stripes, sometimes zebra stripes, or on legs. Now that you have seen almost all of these main popularity colors, I want you to know that most horses can come in all of these colors here, given on the poster. Now, the breed can vary of certain colors given or taken. Like, if, for example, a breed of the American Quarter Horse can actually come in almost any one of these colors given on this board. So I hope you learned something about the colors. Now moving down to markings. I would like you to just take a real quick look at what the different markings would look like. Okay, now that we have taken a quick looking at what all the markings will look like, we're going to start out with the face markings. The first one we see here is called a blaze. It is a basically white stripe down its face, starting wide at the top of its forehead, getting thinner down the nose, and staying white on the nose. As we move over to the snip, it is just a white little patch on the nose. We move over to the stripe. It is a thin line down the forehead, almost to the nose, but does not quite touch the nose. We can move over to the star. It is a big white patch on the forehead of the horse, right and smack dead in the middle. This is a star, stripe, and snip, a mixture of what we just basically see in the beginning, except the blaze. We can move over to the star and stripe. It is basically the same thing as a star, stripe, and snip, except it's not going quite down to the nose, starting wide at the top and getting thinner down the nose. This is a bald horse. It is basically a horse with a full-out white head. Most horses you can see with all of these markings. But the bald sometimes is very special because you don't see horses that really have a brownish head and then all of a sudden have a very thick, white, baldish head. Now, as we move on to the feet. This is a cornet. Some people call it coronet or cornet. I pronounce it cornet. People have different ways of pronouncing it. It is basically a white, thin stripe right across the hoof. As we move over to the half pastern, it is basically a half white spot right up before the hock. This is the pastern, which goes basically straight up to the hock, but not covering the hock. As we move up to the ankle, it is a white thing going up to the hock, through the ankle, and almost up to the cannon bone. This is a half stocking, which is halfway up the cannon bone, but not quite. This is a full stocking, which goes all the way up the cannon bone and is very pretty. You can see lots of horses with this. This is an outside heel, which is a little white dot on the outside part of a horse's heel. This is a both heel, with a little white, patch or spot on the back of the horse's foot. And this is called an inside heel. This is your markings. Time to move on to conformation and fault. As we move down to conformation and faults, this is what the main thing will look like. I know it looks a little much at now, but as soon as you learn it, you'll think it is really cool. As you look at the first diagram given right here, it is called the box. The box is actually a really cool diagram given. The box is a line that should come up from the rear end to the shoulder blades, to the withers, down from the neck to the end of the hoofs, not pushing the hoofs out, but about that much in between. Coming down straight hoofs from the back cannon bone should be straight right up back to the hind end. This is your box, and your horse should fill in this box. Now this is called the head. This is a head put in the right line of detail. Head is held high, square to the shoulders, and a perfect line straight from back of the ears to straight. This is the head put in the wrong shoulder line. You can see this line is straight just as this one, but if you see the ears are slightly headed, pushed forward in, and it just does not look right compared to this. As you usually look at horses, you don't really see a difference if you just say, oh, horsey. But as soon as you look harder at what they look like and you start riding, you can actually see a really big difference in it. Okay. Now we're going to look at some of the different horses on about saddleback, or what the horse's back should look like. Right here is called a roachback. Is when the back comes too high and there's not enough room to really have a saddle to sit in. The withers are too high and there's a bump right in front of the neck. This is a head put into the neck head put into neck, wrong neck bends wrong way. And you can see that there's a bump right in front of the neck, thin neck, stripes real hard down. But it's kind of not too bad here. As you move on to the saddleback, it is terrible. This is a saddleback, and you can see there's a bump also in front of the neck, but it slopes really hard down. See, if you look at this diagram, as in, there is a bump kind of in front of the neck, but look at the difference between that bump and that bump. Big difference. Okay. Now, we are going to look at some horses with pigeon toes and forward lines. This horse here has a correct stance of how a horse should stand. Feet straight out, shoulders bladed together, and head squared up. You look at this horse's chest is way too small. The toes, the feet are practically standing correctly, but the knees are kind of high. I mean, that does not really affect your horse too bad, but besides of arthritis. Ears are back, and you do not really like that in a horse. As you look onto this one, this chest is way too thick. Toes are pointed in, and is called a pigeon-toed horse. These horses are not good riding. They can minus points off of you, and it is just, horses can trip very easily. Now here is a out forward-toed horse with a very thick chest, and the toes are pointing outwards, which is not healthy for the horse. Now moving on to the back part of the horse. As I just showed you the horses above, now you look at these and you can look at the different stances of horses from the back. You can tell which one looks good and doesn't. This one is good, wide rear, nice stances, correct feet. Too thin, correct feet, but not as good stances. Nice butt, nice stances here, but then the feet are out, which does not look correct. Moving down to gaits. As we move down to gaits, you can look at these and see the different types of gaits. I'll move slowly through so you can see each one. Okay, now we are going to start with the walk. The walk is a regular gait. It is called a 4-step gait because each foot moves at a different time. If you look carefully at the feet, you can see how each foot is picked up and left the ground at a different time. This is called a trot. It is a 2-gaited trot, which is where 2 feet are moving at the same time. You can see kind of how the feet, there's always 2 feet lifted off the ground. Now as we move down to the canter. This is your regular canter. You can see how this is a 3-footed, how there's always 3 feet put onto the ground. This is basically a jog for humans. Now we can move down to our gallop. Now this is a 3-footed stride kind of, but it kind of moves through each 1, 2, 3, and 4 because you cannot really see because there's 3 feet off, all 4 off, and then you can't really count a gait on this one. But this is what a full-out gallop looks like. This is like a sprint for us. Now this is a gaited horse type of trot. I don't really specify in gaited, but some of these gaited horses are actually pretty cool when you look at them. Last but not least, the bone structure. This is the quick bone structure of a horse. If you want, you can pause the video and learn individually what each one is. But if you heard me earlier talking about a cannon bone, this is what the cannon bone is. It's a forward thing here. Your shoulder, your chest, and different things like that. You can kind of already know some things like the neck, hindquarters, things like that. But there's some really cool words here. Like this is called the wither, here's your dock, and things like that. So if you wanted to learn some of these specifically, I would recommend pausing the video and learning each one. So that's it for today. Thanks, bye.